Digital stealth, big tech, and privacy alternatives. What is digital stealth? Essentially, it is the ability to have privacy and freedom on the internet, using tools to stop your data from being tracked and collected. Why would you want to do this? Well, if people want to track your data, that's one thing. But the problem is you don't have control over the character of the people who are tracking it, which means they basically can do whatever they want. We really want to protect our data so we can have autonomy and to be able to create freely. So, what are some issues with big tech, first of all? So, we know that Google is a very well known company that everyone uses. Google consists of 92% of the search results, but unfortunately, Google is a surveillance company. They primarily make their money through advertising. Now, Google collects data in order to do this. They primarily use surveillance, censorship, and manipulation of data. Now, the surveillance piece is how they collect data on you. Every single Google tool uses this, whether it's Gmail, the search engines, Android. Now, censorship refers to censoring certain information while keeping other information. This is a problem because who gets to determine what is to be seen and what isn't? Like, we are all conscious beings and we can decide by ourselves. Like, we have the ability to think and sift through information. Like, we don't need this government parental figure telling us what we can and cannot see. So we just look at the track record. We know that many things that have been censored in the past due to misinformation have actually been proven to be very true. Manipulation refers to a variety of tactics, like manipulating search results, so some appear on the top and some on the bottom, or making relevant terms disappear, like voting data, for example. So essentially, freedom-minded individuals need to be aware of these things, like being aware of all the tools at our disposal in order to stay free, because there's a lot of oversight that just does not need to happen, and the more empowered we are and the more agency that we have, the more control we over have in our own lives. Like, we think about nutrition and all that, like getting the highest quality companies and sourcing. Well, it's really the same thing for everything. Like, having the awareness to optimize everything in our lives, and these are great tools. So start with number one, which is Gmail. Now, when you use Gmail, every single email that you send and receive is going to be stored in Google. Now, this information is stored and added to your profile. With Gmail, your inbox is also used for ads and marketing. The best alternative here is going to be Proton Mail. There's a few quality companies. Proton Mail is what I use, and is essentially a company that's based in Switzerland and is subject to strict privacy laws. This was actually a service that was originally created for scientists, and then it was kind of opened up to the public. They use encrypted messaging. Only people that can read it are you and the sender. Not even Proton Mail can read it. So it honors privacy and freedom. They actually switched to proton.me for some reason. So that is their website. And then they even like send out some newsletters, and from the ones I read, they're all about like freedom and they're really about like high quality value. So these are companies that I stand with. When it comes to search engines, which is number two, Google is a surveillance tool. Every search that you've ever done is stored on your profile. Also manipulates the data, so your mind is kind of shifted without even you knowing it. Some of the information that is collected is the IP address, user agent, location, user identifier, and search query. Basically what that means is you're being heavily tracked. Now, Brave is an excellent search engine, which is what I use, and I feel like it's the number one out there. It's made by the same creators of Mozilla Firefox, and Brave, it has a lion logo, of course, and it has its own private index, because a lot of these alternative search engines out there, they can be good, like DuckDuckGo, for example, but the problem is it takes its search results from Bing, which is owned by Microsoft. So yeah, it works on privacy, but again, it's not using its own search results. Brave does. So there's no tracking or data mining. They also have a browser, which is how it started. So Brave browser, and it's very fast because again, there's no ads, there's no anything like that. And I've been using YouTube for a long time with Brave. And the thing about Brave is that it blocks all the ads. Like I haven't got a YouTube ad in 4 years. I haven't used Google in over 4 years out of some certain circumstances. Like there are certain things that Google may be useful for, but of course, like, I'm all about freedom. So ad blocking is a good tool and it's free. And Brave has a lot of cool features and uses as well. Number three is search engines, which I just touched on with Brave. Now, Brave is the fastest one. It also has like built-in cryptocurrency features like Bitcoin, because that's a whole other thing. I may do an episode on that at some point. But basically, Bitcoin is essentially decentralized currency, and I don't know where that's going, but it is more freedom oriented in terms of the system. Again, it blocks out all the ads, and again, it's a company with high quality values. Like they really are intentional about what they do, and they focus on what matters. Lastly, I want to touch on the Tor browser. Now, a Tor browser was originally developed for the U.S. military for stealth. Developed in 2006 with a drive for freedom and non-censorship behind it. It is used by whistleblowers, secret agents, and people who need to keep their privacy online. Brave browser has an integration with Tor, but I don't really use Tor at all because it's really, really slow. But again, like if you really need to be stealthy for whatever reason, like it's in there, you can use that. So just another tool to keep in mind. For more information on this, I would recommend Dr. Robert Epstein. He's a professor. He studies all this a lot, and he's had his own story with Google. It was really kind of very interesting. I'll let him tell it, but basically, he goes through all these tools and why it's important in a lot more detail. I just feel good like using these companies, knowing that I'm living in line with my values and not giving any power away to the tyrants.